I want to talk to Frank about his books. We never really get a chance to do that. So we'll do that right now.
Frank Dello Stritto.
Hey, Frank, I thought I'd call you a little early. We had 12 minutes. I want to talk about your books. Frank Dello Stritto's an author, and he's been calling in religiously for over a year now, and we appreciate that. And I thought we should talk about the two books you have out in publication again.
Okay.
So what was the first book you put out, and when was it released?
Let's see, the first book came out 2001. It's called Vampire Over London, Bela Lugosi in Britain.
Bela Lugosi in Britain.
Yes. Now, you know, Lugosi became typecast as Dracula, and when horror movies were in vogue, he found plenty of work, and when they were not, he was out of work. And after World War II, the horror movie market collapsed.
Huh.
And so he spent a lot of the post-war years working out of New York, trying, stage, personal appearances, television, whatever he could get. And he went to Britain for 8 months in 1951. And because most of the interest in Lugosi's career is in America, those 8 months were pretty much written off. So, he went over there, he appeared in Dracula on stage, was not a success, and he was more or less stranded over there for months until he got a role in a film called Mother Riley Meets the Vampire. Mother Riley was a British music hall comic, and so it was kind of like it was very much a rip-off of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. He got the money and came home. Well, Bela Lugosi spent money like water. He was not wise with a dollar, and I said he couldn't be out of work for 8 months to survive. He must have done something. So I and my co-author Andy Brooks, who was British, started researching it, and then my company transferred me to Scotland, where I lived for 3 years, and we started finding that not only had he done a lot more than anybody knew, he was hardly idle the whole time he was in there.
Huh. Fascinating.
And what started off as a magazine article became a book because there was a real theme in this. After this was over, he turned 69 while he was there, but 69 was a lot older in 1951 than it is now.
Oh, yeah.
He was never really capable of the level of work he did again, and he would never work that continuously and that hard again, simply because he was physically unable. But the neat thing is, we found a dozen people that worked with him, and we found dozens of people that had been to the theater to see him, and many of them had gotten backstage to talk to him. And you can go out to California and find people like him. The problem is they've been telling the same story for 50 years now, and none of these people had ever talked about their time with Bela Lugosi before. So we had all these original anecdotes, etc., of him in England, and it was one of the great adventures of my life. It was like pick the name of a great person, Napoleon, Winston Churchill, and find out that somehow somebody had overlooked a year, and no one had ever written about it. Nobody even looked into it, and we did, and we found so much, and that's when it became a book. The theme of which is kind of Dracula's last hurrah. This was his last chance.